guys, and welcome to part 2 of my end of the year 2020 makeup collection declutter. This is part 2. We are going to be doing all of my blushes, bronzers, powders, highlighters, and face palettes today. If you haven't already seen part 1, I did all of my skin prep, primers, concealers, foundations, all the main complexion stuff in that. So I will link that in the eye above and also in the description down below. But today we are going to be doing all of these guys here. We have a lot to get through. I did super well in my first round of decluttering. That's really all of the preface I want to give, so let's dive into this. This first drawer here is the only one that I don't have separated into a drugstore and high end. I just have all of my cream liquid products here. I find it easier to just keep them together as I have less of those. So I already know that I'm going to be parting with some of these, so let's see what I can decide on. So just like in my last video, I'm going to dump out each drawer and then pull my favorites to start with and then see what we are left with. So right away, I know for sure that I am 100% keeping both of my Nude Sticks products. I have the blush in Naughty and Spice and the bronzer in Bondi Bay. These are absolutely lovely, but I need to get more use out of them. So I'm definitely keeping both of these. I'm also 100% going to keep my Rare Beauty liquid cream blush. This is in the shade Grace. I haven't played with this as much as I'd like to, but I know that I really like the color and it's still newer to me, so I don't have like a full developed thoughts on it. So I'm gonna keep it in my collection to play around with a bit more. Plus, the packaging is absolutely gorgeous. I'm also for sure going to keep my Glossier Cloud Paint. I have mine in Puff. Absolutely love this, so I will be hanging on to it. I also do have the entire cream blush range from Quo Beauty, but I have that set aside for a video this week. I'm going to be swatching and demoing every single shade in their line, so I'm trying to make room for those as well because I did purchase a lot of those exclusively for the video that I'm going to do, so I definitely need to get rid of a bunch of this stuff. I'm also for sure going to keep these newer Sweet Cheeks formulation from NYX. I really love the pink shade. I'm not as into the nude, but I think it's a really nice formula. So in terms of nude blushes, nude cream blushes, this is definitely the one that I would prefer to keep. I have a full video on these if you're interested. Really nice pillowy soft cream formula, and you can use it on the lips as well. Really nice product. Keeping both of those. And then the last product from this drawer that I'm for sure keeping is this incredible blush. This shade is My First Love. It's like a mauve-y, cool tone pink, super gorgeous, unique color. I absolutely love this formula and I really love the color of this one specifically. I have the two others in the range as well, have a full video on these, but this is definitely my favorite shade and the one I reach for the most. Here we have the other two incredible blush shades. The bright pink is called First Time for Everything and the more peachy shade is Be My First Kiss. So I have these two as well. I really like this formulation and it's so unique and really easy to blend, but I really never reach for these. I feel like I can build up any other pinks in my collection to be as bright as this one. So if anything, I'm leaning towards keeping this like coral. It's a really unique corally, peachy, it's really pretty. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this one for sure, the really bright pink, and I'm going to keep this guy in the maybe pile for now. I'm for sure gonna get rid of these two. We have the Joe Fresh blush stick in Radiant Rosette. I don't even think this is available anymore, and I've had it for a few years now. I used to love it, but I don't think it's available any longer and I never reach for it, so I'm going to get rid of that. I never really reach for liquid highlights anyway. It's just not something that I enjoy. I'm more of a liquid blush person, if anything. I never reach for a liquid cream highlight, so I will be getting rid of this guy. Same thing with these two. We have two more liquid or cream highlights. I have this highlighter stick from Loritzi, which is a Toronto-based company. No, Montreal-based company, Canadian, Montreal-based company. This is in Halo. I don't think I've ever used this, so I'm gonna go ahead and pass this along. I'm sure I have friends that would really like that. And then the Nip and Fab Liquid Gold is just super messy. I never ever reach for this, so I'm gonna pass this along as well. From Loritzi, I am going to keep this contour stick. I haven't even used this yet. I don't think I really need to. I love a good contour bronze stick. This is in Mahalo, and I love a good contour stick, so I will be keeping this guy. And then the last ones that I haven't shown are from Glow Beauty. These were sent to me. I have their cream blush in Fig, like a really pretty nude color, nude, more leaning orange. I'm gonna pass that on. I never reach for it. And then we have this pink shade in Guava, just like my ideal pink color, so I will be hanging on to that. And then since I do have 6 items that I've decluttered from this drawer, which is amazing, I am going to hang on to this incredible blush in Be My First Kiss. That there is how the cream blush drawer is looking really good. I feel really good about that with the newer Quo blushes coming in. I definitely will have more room for those. And there we have all of the products that I'm passing on from the cream product drawer. I feel amazing about that. That was one drawer that was really irritating me just because I wasn't inspired with the stuff that was in it mostly. So very happy about that, but I probably won't do that well with the next few drawers. The next drawer that we have here is my drugstore powders, and right away I don't think there's anything that I want to get rid of from this drawer. I just recently separated my powders into drugstore and high-end because it's not something that I like to try a lot of different ones. I pretty much know what I like. My favorite from this drawer is my Maybelline Fit Me Loose Setting Powder. Absolutely incredible. Highly recommend. Love that. And the e.l.f. Halo Glow. Those are the 2 that I recommend the most. But I still do enjoy the other ones. We have the Rimmel Stay Matte, the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow, Catrice Prime and Fine. That one's newer to me, but I really, really like it. And then I have my Pixie powder foundation. So I enjoy all of these, no use getting rid of them. So yeah, I'm gonna keep all of those. Then we have the powders from my high-end drawer. My number 1 favorite, obviously, if you're familiar with my channel, is the MAC Studio Fix in NC15. I've gone through probably 10 to 15 of these in the last 4 or so years. I'm absolutely in love with this. I always repurchase, so definitely keeping that. I also have the newer One Size by Patrick Starr Ultimate Setting Powder that I've been trying out. This is his translucent, and I've been liking it so far, so going to keep holding on to that. I have my Beauty Bakery Setting Flower Powder that I used in my Full Face Black Owned Beauty Brands video. This is in Oat Translucent, and I actually don't have that much left. I really like this, so I do reach for a decent amount and will 100% hold on to this to finish it up. Then I have my Sephora collection Micro Smooth Baked Face Compact. I have mine in 05 Light. I really like this. It's a lighter weight alternative to the MAC Studio Fix, and it has a little less coverage but a little more of a dewy finish, so I really like this. Great for dry skin. And I will be holding on to that. I also do really enjoy the Makeup Forever Pressed Matte Velvet Skin. I have mine in Y215. I don't love this as much as most people on YouTube seem to like it, probably just because I do have dry skin. I way rather reach for my MAC Studio Fix over this, but it's still a really nice powder foundation, especially if you do have more oily skin, so I will be hanging on to that as well. And then there is one product here that I'm going to declutter from this drawer. It is the VDL powder. I've hardly used it, which is just such a shame, but I've kept it around for a few declutters, intending to use it more, and I just don't. This is their Expert Color Highlighting Book. So technically it's a highlighter, but it's super soft and smooth. The easiest thing that I can compare this to is the Hourglass, their ambient lighting powders, which is something that I feel like maybe I should keep this. The idea of it really interests me, a powder to add light and dimension and smoothness back to the skin, but I kind of use highlighter and setting spray in order to do that. I don't think that I would reach for a powder, or it just doesn't work into my routine to reach for a powder for that purpose, and I just never use it, so I am going to declutter that. So we're getting rid of one product from that drawer, which isn't bad considering that we only had 6 products to start with. Here we have all of my drugstore bronzers. This is a drawer that's relatively full, especially considering I have a lot of additional bronzers in my face palettes, which we will be doing in this video as well. Right away, I am able to pull these 2 as my favorites from the drawer. We have my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. This is in bronzer. And then we have my Milani Sunlight Silky Matte Bronzing Powder. They're actually pretty similar in their consistency and coloring even, but I'm going to keep both. These are definitely my top two drugstore bronzers. My two favorites next to those have to be my Catrice Sungasm Luminizing Bronzer. This is a really nice one, especially for the summertime if I want a little bit of glow and like a radiant bronzer. This one's super pretty. Quo Beauty one gives a similar effect. This is their bronzing powder in Honey Glow. This one does have a little bit of a sheen and shimmer to it, but it's a lot more warm orangey than the Catrice, but I really love both of these as well and could not part with them. I just broke my lid off of my L'Oreal Lumi Bronze-It, but I really like this one as well for the same type of look as the Catrice and the Quo Beauty, but this one's a little bit more cool tone, which I really enjoy. This one's super silky and smooth. Really, really nice one. I'm gonna get rid of this Marcel one. It's absolutely massive and I never reach for it. It's kind of similar to the L'Oreal Lumi Bronze-It. This is in Amazon Heat. It's absolutely massive. It takes up so much room and I never reach for it. So 100% getting rid of that guy. I'm also going to get rid of the NYX Matte Bronzer. This one is just in light. It's just a little bit too red toned for what I like in a bronzer and I never ever reach for this. Still fairly new and relatively unused, so I'm going to be definitely able to pass that on to someone who will hopefully use it. And then I have two main products here that are pretty much solely just for contour. I have my Too Cool for School art class contour, and then I have my Essence Contour Duo. Heard amazing things about the Essence Contour Duo from Make Me Up Missa here on YouTube, and I'd like to give it a try. It's super inexpensive and I like that you got a highlighting powder in there as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass on the Too Cool for School, and I'm going to hang on to this Essence one and hopefully get some more use out of it. I'm gonna go ahead and hang on to my remaining two. I have the e.l.f. Primer Infused Bronzer. I've only used this once since my full face e.l.f. video. I purchased it for that video, I should say, and I only used it in that video, so I definitely need to try it out more. I wasn't wowed by it, but I definitely don't have solid thoughts enough yet to pass it along or not, so I'm going to be keeping this. And then I'm also going to keep my Maybelline City Bronzer. This is in 100. I don't reach for this a ton, but I hear really good things about it, so I need to make a point to use it more. And that is how the bronzer drawer is looking now. I feel a lot better about that. Less overwhelming to look at and definitely more inspiring, and we are able to declutter 3 products from there: the Marcel bronzer, the NYX matte bronzer, and the Too Cool for School contour. So I feel really good about that. I wanted to get rid of at least 2 and we're getting rid of 3, which is awesome. Next up we have my high-end bronzers, which I really don't have a lot of, and I know right away that I'm going to be getting rid of one specific product. So from my high-end bronzer drawer, I'm just going to get rid of this Laura Mercier one. It is the Matte Radiance Baked Powder in Bronze 03. I never reach for this, and I honestly got it in like a point perk at Sephora years and years ago. I don't know why I still have this after doing like however many declutters I've done, but it is what it is. I will be passing this along today and throwing it out because it is certainly expired. And then I feel good about keeping my remaining 5 out of this drawer. My hands down favorites are the Dior Backstage. Absolutely love that. And then my Hoola by Benefit are my definite 2 favorites, but I love my Dior bronzer as well. I'm not really a big bronzer person, so I feel good about this drawer and just keeping what I love. Here are all of my drugstore highlighters. I have a decent amount of these, a lot of which I never reach for and don't really like, so I'm hoping to at least get rid of, I want to say 3 from this drawer, at least 2, hopefully 3. So let's see what we can do. My top 3 favorites from this drawer that are 100% staying are my Pixi Glowy Gossamer Duo in Delicate Dew. I absolutely love this. Such a good product from the drugstore. Also, my Coty Airspun, the loose face highlighter. Mine is in Snow Much Ice 100. This is absolutely incredible from the drugstore. Highly, highly recommend. And then probably my all-time favorite drugstore highlighter is the ColourPop Flexitarian, their Super Shock formula. I actually just ordered a brand new one and it came broken, so I had to press it in like you see there. But I have yet to use this. I've gone through a full one now and I absolutely love it. It's my #1 drugstore highlight, especially if you have pale skin like myself. It's absolutely beautiful. You can use it with your fingers, with a brush. It's amazing. Keeping those 3. I'm also 100% going to keep these 2. We have the newer Catrice Sungasm Face and Body Highlight. This takes up a ton of room in my drawer, but I really, really love it. This is newer, launched this past summer, and I really love it. Also going to definitely hang on to my Kokie Soft Glow Highlighter in Gleaming. This is a pretty similar formulation to the ColourPop Super Shock. It's in between like a cream and a powder, wears beautifully on the skin, so definitely hanging on to both of these. And then the last 2 that I'm going to hang on to here are both UK brands. I have my Sleek Makeup Highlighting Solstice palette. This was my go-to when I was living in England on exchange. I absolutely love this and it's very nostalgic for me, so I will be holding on to that. I also have my LOV Perfecting Glow powder in, just as baked powder. It's like a really nice soft highlighter. Looks like that. Super, super pretty and unique to my collection, so I'll be keeping both of those as well. And then I will be getting rid of these 3. They're all relatively new, so I will be able to pass these along, which is nice. I have my NYX Diamonds and Ice Please highlighter from their holiday collection. I recently reviewed this in case you are interested in watching that. I just know I won't reach for this, so I'm going to pass it on now while it's still like brand new. Then I have this highlighter from Cosmic Colors. This is a Dollar Tree brand. I was gonna do a Dollar Tree dupe video and it just never happened, and now I feel uninspired and there's no point, so I'm gonna get rid of that. And then I have this Milani Afterglow Strobe Light highlighter. Oh shoot, I was gonna do a full face Milani though. Yeah, I'm gonna hang on to this, put it aside in a separate bin with my other Milani stuff, but once I film that video I will be decluttering it because I don't like it. So technically decluttering 3, but this is going to stay in my collection just until that video is filmed. And that is how the drugstore highlight drawer is looking afterwards. Feeling really, really good about that. So it's now the next day that I'm filming this side of the organizer. I lost steam last night and decided to charge up my camera and do the rest today. So if the angle or lighting looks different, that is why. We are now ready to move on with my high-end highlighters, of which I would like to at least get rid of 2. Because I do have some other ones that are set aside for videos right now that aren't currently in here, but everything that I have is set aside at the moment. My CoverGirl, Charlotte Tilbury, all that stuff, I'm keeping anyway. So just want to make room for everything that I have already set aside for videos that will eventually be back in here. Right away, I know that I'm hands down keeping these 2, my new Dior Backstage highlighter palette and my newer Benefit Cookie highlighter. I'm so in love with both of these and absolutely am keeping both of these guys. I'm also definitely going to be keeping these 2. The Mary Luminizer from The Balm is very new to me. I used it in my sponsored video with Look Fantastic. Very new to me and I really like it, so I'm definitely keeping that. And then I'm definitely keeping my Fenty Kilowatt Duo in Lightning Dust and Fire Crystal. I have Hip Pan on both of these, one of my favorite highlight formulas in my collection. I don't reach for it as much as I used to, but it's a really lovely formula, so definitely hanging on to both of these as well. I'm also going to hang on to all 3 of my MAC highlighters. I have the MAC Golden Gleam. This is their Extra Dimension Skin Finish. This is probably my favorite of the bunch here. I absolutely love this. I have MAC Soft and Gentle, of course, and then I also have, what is this guy? The Lightscapade Mineralized Skin Finish, which is more of a soft highlight, like an Oliver skin finish. Super, super pretty. That's newer to my collection. I got it on sale at Marshall's fairly recently. So keeping all of my MAC highlights, I really, really love these. And then the last one here that I'm for sure keeping is my Artist Couture highlight in Cocoa Bling. This is their Diamond Glow powder formulation. So, so gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful loose highlighter. If you like an intense beaming highlight, this is incredible. Then I have 4 highlighters left here that I'm kind of on the fence about. I have my Stila Heaven's Hue highlighter. This is a really gorgeous formulation. It's just a little bit too dark for me, so I never reach for it. That's in Kitten. Super unique, pretty formula, but I think I might pass that along. We also have my Flesh highlighter in Boost. I never reach for this. I don't know why, but I just have other highlights that I like more. I guess it's a little cool toned, and I don't usually reach for a cool toned highlight, but it's really, really pretty and someone can still get use out of it. So that one for sure I will be passing along. I also have my Bare Minerals highlighter in Free. This is their Endless Glow highlighter formula. Really, really gorgeous, but again, I think it's a little too dark for me. I'm gonna swatch it next to the Stila one and keep whatever is lighter of the two, so we'll do that in a sec. And then the last one that I have is this Bobbi Brown Pink Glow highlighter. That's a little too deep for me too. It says it's like a pink highlight, but it's really more of a deep bronze in my opinion. I think that's a little too dark for me too, so I'm gonna swatch these 3 and I will keep the lightest of the bunch. This is the Stila Kitten highlight. Then we have the Bare Minerals and the Bobbi Brown. I think I'm honestly going to hang on to the Stila one and the Bare Minerals, and I'll get rid of the Bobbi Brown. Yeah, the Bobbi Brown's definitely too dark. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep the Bare Minerals and the Stila. From that drawer, we didn't do amazing, but we did get rid of 2, which is pretty good. We have the Fresh highlight and the Bobbi Brown highlight as well. Now we have all of my drugstore blushes. This one is going to be incredibly hard for me. The high-end blushes as well, because blush is one of my favorite categories and I love it so much. So let's go ahead and pull out my favorites from here. I have a bunch of high-end favorites, or low-end drugstore favorites, sorry. My 2 most reached for from this drawer are definitely my All My Healthy Hue blush in, it doesn't have a name on it, I always forget it, but I use it in a ton of my videos, and the Rimmel Kate Moss blush trio. These are both super affordable and they are just absolutely gorgeous, so I'm definitely hanging on to these 2. 2 more blushes that I'm definitely hanging on to are my Milani Baked blushes. The super pink one is more recent to my collection. It's in Dolce Pink. This color is like my ideal blush color, honestly. I'm obsessed with it. And then obviously I have Luminoso, which is a good classic for summer. I don't love these tones on me, but if I'm gonna keep like one peachy blush, it's gonna be this one. So hang on to both of my Milanis. I also have 2 of my CoverGirl blushes pulled from here as well, which are 2 of my favorites, so I'm keeping those 2 in mind as well. I'm gonna hang on to these 2 because they are more unique to my collection. I have the Tanya Burr like blush, but it's more of a blush topper. I don't even think they sell this anymore. I don't even know if Tanya Burr is a company anymore, but I love this. It's so gorgeous and glowy and pretty, so I'll be keeping that. And then I have my NYX blush in Mauve and Out. This is like the only deep berry blush that I have, so I'm keeping it because if I ever need to do like a deeper berry look, I have that. So keeping both of those. I'm gonna definitely declutter both of these. I never reach for them. This is just that peachy tone that I don't feel like looks good on me, or I just don't find super flattering. I don't feel pretty in it. So we have the Style, or the 3CE blush. This was sent to me by Stylevana for a video we did, but I just don't use these tones. This is in Rose Beige. And then I have my Essence Satin Touch blush in Satin Coral. This blush formula is gorgeous, but I never wear these kinds of shades. And this compact is also broken. So I'm going to definitely get rid of those 2, which is good. I'm going to hang on to my Morphe blush trio in Pop of Coral, mainly because like all of these shades are pretty unique to my collection, even my high-end blushes. So it's really good if I want a very specific tone. Like I don't really have any other nudes like this, no other colors like this, so I'm going to keep it mainly for that reason. The formula is okay, I just don't really reach for it, but it does still make sense to keep in my collection for variety. The last 3 that I'm going to hang on to is this L'Oreal like Peach from their Peach Enchanted collection. Very unique to my collection. It's like a very shimmery coral peach, so I'm going to hang on to that. I'm going to keep this e.l.f. blush duo from their new Bite Size collection. This is the only one that I'm going to keep, which actually surprises me because it's a very different color, but that's why I'm keeping it, because it's more unique to my collection. And then I'm also going to keep this Catrice blush in Glistening Pink. It's one of my favorite everyday baby pink shades. In total, from that drawer, I'm getting rid of 6 blushes, which is absolutely incredible. I feel so good about that. So I'm getting rid of the Essence Satin Touch, the 3CE blush, this Pixie blush in Wednesdays. It's more of like a blush topper, but I have other ones that I reach for more than this. Getting rid of the Wet n Wild Pac-Man like glow pellets. Super, super pretty color, but it's just not a practical product. I don't reach for it. And then I'm getting rid of these e.l.f. Bite Size duos. These are just shades that like I won't use and other people can get use out of. So 6 products from that drawer. I feel so incredible about that. The last drawer that we have before the palettes is my high-end blushes. And this drawer is really full, especially considering I have 2 of my Charlotte Tilbury blushes that aren't in here at the moment. But I honestly don't think I can part with any of these blushes. I'll go through as I like put them back in the drawer, but I think I'm going to be keeping all of these guys. 2 of my favorite blushes from this drawer are my YSL blush. They don't make this anymore, but it's like a super bright baby doll pink color. I absolutely love this. And my Becca blush in Foxglove. I absolutely love this. Very unique shade. Both of these are very unique pinks and I love them. I'll be keeping both of these as well. My Bobbi Brown Shimmer Brick in Sunset Glow. I use this pretty much as a blush topper, but I absolutely love it. And the Natasha Denona Bloom blush. Such a unique shade. I really, really like this. Definitely keeping both of my MAC blushes. We have MAC Melba, which is my all-time favorite blush, or used to be. I don't reach for it as much, but at one point in time, this was my hands down holy grail favorite blush on recommendation of Jaclyn Hill back in the day. And then I'm also keeping my MAC Ray Beam Mineralize blush. This is just like the perfect everyday pink color for me, so I love both of these. Definitely keeping these 2 as well. We have NARS Orgasm, a classic, and Lise Watier Libertine. These are almost dupes for each other. They're very similar, but I do like and use both of them, so I will be keeping both of these. I'm also going to keep my Bare Minerals Bounce and Blur in Pink Sky. This is a super unique, like creamy powder formula. It's gorgeous, and I love my Tarte Amazonian blush in Party. I use this in like nude looks where I don't really want a blush, but I still want a blush because I'm obsessed with blush, so definitely keeping both of those as well. Then I pulled my at least 3 used blushes from this drawer, which are NARS Bumpy Ride, Hourglass Dim Infusion, and Benefit Coralista. I just don't really reach for these. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch them. I want to hang on to all of them just because they're higher end and it's blush, which is a category that I love, but I never reach for these, so I'm gonna swatch just to be sure. These are those blush shades there. We have Bumpy Ride, the Hourglass one, and then Coralista. No, not Coralista. California. I feel like I said Coralista earlier. I actually changed my mind from what I thought I was going to. I'm going to hang on to NARS Bumpy Ride, and then I'm actually going to declutter these 2, which I did not expect to do, but I don't use them and they don't bring me joy, and I rather have room for newer high-end blushes because it is a category that I like to try new things from. So going to be getting rid of the Hourglass Dim Infusion and Benefit California. These though I can definitely pass on because I haven't had them that long, and hopefully someone else can get good use out of them. The last category that we have here is definitely going to be the biggest. I zoomed you guys in. These are all of my face palettes. I have way too many. I never reach for these, mainly because I have them currently stored with my eyeshadow palettes, which just doesn't make sense. So I'm going to purchase a new storage for these on Amazon so I can keep them away from my eyeshadow palettes so that I'll actually use them. My goal for this category is to get rid of at least like 4 or 5. So let's go ahead and pull my absolute favorites first. My 2 favorites and most reach for from my face palette category are definitely these 2. I have my Physicians Formula Butter Collection palette. I have a full review on this. It is absolutely gorgeous. I highly, highly recommend it. I need to use this more. The highlights are kind of meh to me, but the bronzers and the blushes are just absolutely gorgeous. So highly recommend, 100% keeping. And then my Too Faced Sugar Peach palette. This is more of like a highlight and blush topper palette, but it's really gorgeous formulation. So smooth and buttery. so I'm definitely keeping this as well. I'm also definitely going to hang on to my Pixie Rach Lebs palette. This is one that hasn't been loved by me at all, just because really none of the rest of these I've used. I only ever reach for these two, which is so crazy. So I'm gonna go based off what I would like to use more, not based on what I currently use. And I would like to use this more. It looks gorgeous and I've swatched it. I've used it like maybe once or twice on my face, but it's gorgeous and I want to use it more, so I'm keeping it. And then I do actually love and reach for my e.l.f. Glow Gleam Beam palette. You can get this at Walmart, at Target, whatever. It's so worth the money. Such gorgeous highlight formulas for the price. So definitely hang on to this guy. I'm just like not a face palette person. Like I'm honestly tempted to declutter all of these, which is crazy, but I never reach for any of this stuff. I will though hang on to my Essence bronze powder palette. I love how there's like more diverse bronze shades. This is like the only real light bronzer that I have in my collection, so I will be keeping that. I'm gonna start to pull things that I know I definitely won't reach for and can immediately declutter. I'm going to get rid of this Essence Pure Nude highlighter palette. One is broken. I never reach for the others. I'm keeping the bronzer one, but I don't have a desire to keep this one. So passing that on. I'm also going to get rid of this Hard Candy highlighting duo. I used it in my most recent New at the Drugstore video. I don't like it. I've used it once and I know I won't reach for it again. So I will pass that on while it's relatively brand new to a friend who will get some use out of it. I'm going to pass on this Pixie palette. I just don't like how small the pans are, to be honest, which seems like a silly thing, but I just know I won't reach for something that has this many shades in it. I find it a little overwhelming for the face, and I think I've only ever swatched it, so it's pretty brand new and can definitely go to a friend that will use it more. A better friend. It will go to a friend that can get more use out of it, so passing that along. I'm gonna hang on to this Quo Beauty highlight duo. I do like that there's like a super icy light shade because I don't have one like that in my collection, so it's pretty unique and different, so I will be hanging on to this guy. Really cute packaging too. I'm also gonna keep my When Wild Pac-Man edition palette. I think these colors are super, super pretty. The nudes are more unique for my collection and it's a really nice formulation, and I like the pan size, so I will be keeping this as well. I'm gonna hang on to this Essence blush palette and blush and highlight palette. It's their Jelly Keen duo. I really like this blush shade in particular. Super unique for my collection, and I really like the highlights in here as well, so I'm going to hold on to that guy. And then the last one that I'm going to hang on to is my Catrice Luminize palette. You have like two different highlighters and then a blush topper. Super gorgeous formulation, very bright and blinding, really great drugstore option, so I will be keeping that as well. And then I'm going to pass on all of these. I'm looking at them, they just don't bring me joy. I don't use them, which is amazing that I feel like I can get rid of this much. So we have these two palettes from Pixie, the Nuance Quartet palette, getting rid of those. My IBY Beauty palette, this is really pretty, but I never reach for it and it's fairly bulky, so getting rid of that. I'm gonna pass on my Sephora CEO palette. I never ever reach for this. It's not a bad palette. I have a full review on it and people seem to like it, but I just never ever reach for it and I know that I won't, so I'm gonna pass that on. I'm gonna also get rid of my other Essence Peachy Keen, Peachy Bean palette. I just won't use these shades, so getting rid of that. And then I'm going to get rid of this LOV Glorious highlighting palette. Never reach for that, and I likely won't. So that is 9 highlighter and blush like face palettes that I'm getting rid of. I feel so incredible about that. I cut my face palette collection in half. I am smiling so big right now. I feel incredible about that. These can go to better homes. So let's go ahead and see in total what I'm getting rid of. Here we have everything that I'm getting rid of. I feel absolutely incredible about this. I did not think I was going to be able to part with this much. I'm gonna go drop some stuff off at friends right now, hopefully, and see if any of them want them. So in total, I'm getting rid of 9 face palettes. We are getting rid of 5 cream products, 4 bronzers, 6 highlighters, powder highlighters, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blushes. That concludes this section of my declutter series. I feel so incredible about this. I feel inspired looking at the products that I have in my collection. Definitely be sure to like this video if you did enjoy it, comment, subscribe if you aren't already. Be sure to turn on my notifications if you want to see my other declutter videos in this series. Next up, we will be doing likely all of my lip products or all of my eyeshadow products. Let me know what you would prefer to see next, and I will be sure to film that in the next week or so. And as always, I hope you guys have or had an absolutely awesome day, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!